Hey everybody, Chris here from chrisamericos.com, where we help you level up and show the world the best version of yourself. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you about phrasal verbs that you can use about cars and driving, and they're really useful. Recently, someone wrote on Facebook and asked me to make a video explaining different words and terminology and verbs that talk about driving a car. They said this would be really useful for you to make a video about, and I would love to see it. So this video is for you. The first phrasal verb that we'll talk about today is buckle up. Buckle up means to fasten your seatbelt. And what does that mean? Well, when you're sitting in a car, you need to put the seatbelt across your body, right? That's to put your seatbelt on, we might say, or to buckle up. And we don't have to say buckle up your seatbelt. We can just say the phrase buckle up, and that means put your seatbelt on. So when we sit in the car, I might look back at my daughter and say, buckle up before we go. And she knows that that means to put her seatbelt on so we can go. The next phrasal verb that you need to know is pull over. And this is something that the police do to you and to your car. So imagine you're driving your car and maybe you're going a little too fast. You never do that, right? Me neither. I never do that. But imagine you are and the police stop you. What happens when they stop you? They put on their siren and the lights and the sounds. You can hear them coming and you need to stop your car. But you don't stop in the middle of the street. You have to put your car on the side of the road before you stop. That's what it means to pull over. So first of all, you can pull over to the side of the road because the police are stopping you, but usually in this situation, we say that the police pulled me over. So the police can do this to me and to my car, or I can do it myself. So we might say, the police officer told me to pull over, or we might say, the police officer pulled me over. The next phrasal verb is to back up. And this means to go backwards, to go in reverse. A lot of people around the world drive a car. You might be one of them. And when you look down to change gears in your car, to go forward, backwards, side to side. No, you don't go side to side in a car, just forward and backwards. But maybe to park, we have something called a gear switch, or some people might call it a stick, or a stick shift, or a gear shift, or a shifter. There's a lot of different names for it. But when you look down at this thing, there are some letters, and D means drive. That means you go forward. And P means park. That means you stay in one place. And R means reverse. And when you put the car in reverse and press the gas with your foot, you back up. So we might say, I need to back up to get out of this parking spot. Or if I'm driving down the street and another car is coming out of a parking spot, I might tell the driver, watch out, they're backing up. And this means they are moving backwards out of the spot. They are going in reverse. The next phrasal verb that you need to know about cars and driving is fill up. This is something that we do to a special part of the car. We don't fill up ourselves, although we can fill up with food, snacks, sugar. But when we're talking about cars and driving, fill up means to put gasoline in the car. Now, you might not call it gasoline if you live in another country. You might call it petrol. But no matter what you call it, your car needs it. So to fill up your car means to put enough gasoline or petrol in your car so that it says that it's full. When you're driving, you can see how much gas you have in your car. It says that it's full or it's empty or somewhere in between. And that lets you put the gas in the car. That place that holds the gas is called the gas tank. So we might say, I need to fill up my tank. And this does not mean that I have a tank and I'm a soldier driving a tank in a war. No, it means that I have a car and I need to put gas in my car. I need to fill up my tank. And when you sit in the car as the driver and you look to see if it's full or empty, you'll say, oh no, I need to get gas. My tank is empty. And if you rent a car, then they will tell you when you bring the car back, bring it back with a full tank. This means you need to fill up the tank. So you need to go to the gas station, and when they say, how much gas do you want? You say, fill it up. Okay, the next phrasal verb that you need to know is speed up. And this one is really easy. It just means go faster. Another way to say this is to accelerate. So if your friend is driving really slowly, you might tell them, you need to speed up if you want to get home on time. Okay, the next phrasal verb is to take off. And maybe you have heard this phrasal verb before, not about cars. You might have heard it about an airplane. Because when an airplane leaves the ground and goes into the air, we say, take off. The plane took off. But we can also say this about cars. And not only about cars, we can say it just about people walking. Because to take off means to leave a place, to leave a location. So at the end of a party, your friend might say, Chris, I'll see you later. I need to take off. This means I need to leave. And when you're in a car, you can say the same thing. Maybe Mike says, Chris, let's go. And I say, we can take off when John gets in the car. This means we can go, we can leave when John gets in the car. All right, the next phrasal verb is to cut off. And usually this is to cut someone off. Imagine you're driving on the road and another car drives very fast and moves in front of you. And now you have to slow down because this car went in front of you. This is cutting someone off. That car cut you off. You probably don't like it when people cut you off on the road because it means you have to slow down or stop. But be honest. Have you ever cut someone off on the road? I bet you have. If you've been driving for at least some period of time, then probably at some point you cut someone off. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe you did it on purpose. Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you get more videos like this. The next phrasal verb we need to talk about is to drop off. This means to drive a person to a place, and then that person gets out of the car, and then you drive away. So, for example, I drop my daughter off at school every morning. You might ask your friend, can you drop me off at the train station on your way to work? This means when your friend leaves for work, you will go in the car with your friend, and your friend will go to the train station, you will get out, and then your friend will continue driving to work. Okay, the next phrasal verb is to pull up, and usually pull up somewhere. This means to stop the car in front of some place or location. It doesn't always mean that you park there, but you definitely stop there. So if my friend is going to drop me off at the train station, then probably my friend will drive to the front of the train station, stop so I can get out, and then my friend will go. So what will happen is my friend will pull up to the train station. So this phrasal verb describes approaching the front of this place. Maybe your friend is waiting for you at the cinema and your friend is inside because it's very cold outside. And when you get to the cinema, you call your friend and you say, hey, I'm pulling up outside. Or you might say, I'm pulling up to the cinema right now. And this means I am arriving. I am approaching the front of this place. Or if someone is coming to your house, you might say, just pull up to the front of the house. This means that they should park in the front of the house. They should come to the front and stop there. Or you might talk about someone else's car. We might say, it was very strange. A car pulled up to our house in the middle of the night. This means a car approached our house and stopped somewhere near the front of the house. Or maybe we use this phrase to describe a car that stops very quickly and goes away. For example, a man pulled up in a car, rolled down the window, and said, thank you, and drove away. If you don't know that guy, then that's kind of strange. All right, our next phrasal verb is to break down. And this describes when a car stops working. It's really dangerous to break down on the highway because then you have to get out of your car on the highway. Other cars are going very fast and you are stuck there. So we use this phrasal verb to talk about mechanical problems that the car has. We might say, we broke down on the side of the road and we had to call a tow truck. A tow truck is a special kind of car that comes and picks up your car and puts your car on the back and drives away so that the car can be fixed. No, in the United States, we do not call this an evacuator. No, it's a tow truck because that truck tows your car. There's a verb to tow something, and this means to carry it. All right, our next phrasal verb is to drive off. And to drive off means to leave. Now, you might be thinking, Chris, what's the difference between take off and drive off? And really, there's no difference, but take off can be used about a plane, a person, a bike, a motorcycle, a car, anything. And drive off can only be used about automobiles or cars, buses, and other things like that. So we might say, as soon as I signed the contract for my new car, I drove off. This means that I left in the car. Now, when should we use the verb leave and when should we use the verb drive off? Well, the phrasal verb drive off describes a situation when we leave very quickly, or we leave in a hurry, or we leave because we need to get away from something. We might say, the bank robbers drove off with $2 million. They were in a hurry. Another phrasal verb that we can use is to back out. And this is about going in reverse in the car. Now, you probably remember at the beginning of this video, we talked about back up. So what's the difference between back up and back out? Well, when you back up, you are just going in reverse. But when you back out, you are leaving a place where you were parked or where you were stuck. So imagine you go down a very narrow street and there's no way to get out. Well, you will need to back out of that street. And yes, part of backing out of the street means that you need to back up. So they're very similar, but back out means that you're stuck in some area or small space. And back up is just to go in reverse. You might also remember that we talked about the phrasal verb to speed up. Well, what's the opposite of speed up? It's slow down. So if you need to go slower, you say, hey, slow down. For example, if your taxi driver is going too fast, you can say, please slow down. I'm afraid. I don't want to die. Okay, 2 more phrasal verbs and then we'll finish this video. The next phrasal verb is to get in, and this means to enter the car. And then the last one is to get out, which means to exit the car. And we don't have to say get in the car and get out of the car. You can, but you don't have to say all of that. You can just say, hey, get in. And then when you're tired of talking to that person, you can just say, get out. Of course, you're probably much more polite than that, so you might add a please and a thank you. For example, please get in the car so we can go, or everyone needs to get out of the car so we can take a group photo. Those are good examples. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you press like, press subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.